Welcome to This Is All Your Life. That's sarcastic, meaning it's only your fucking life. Who gives a shit? No big deal. Overcoming the bullshit to open your heart and mind with Janice Corsano and Holly Corsano. Hey, Shot. How are you? Oh my God, I'm so tired.
Why'd you call me Shot?
Because you just told me you were Shot.
I am Shot.
Okay, well.
But no one else knew that.
Well, now they do. Well, now they do.
Yeah.
The tired today.
Yes. I'm so tired.
In the pain levels, I'm not sure which ones are worse. The body pain, well, apparently I personally have been trying to injure myself, not on purpose, but it would seem that way. Just in the last 2 days, so it's kind of one of those things where you're like, well, no, I threw my back out because I was doing that stupid thing, and then I hit my hip at the same time, and okay, and then on top of that, after I did those things, I then fell yesterday just for fun with slippery socks that normally I don't fall in. When I went to go close the window and landed on my exercise machine, which it kind of felt like I exercised. I would have to say, I guess today feels like I did like a really intense exercise.
Right.
Except for usually it doesn't feel like I fractured my toe when I exercise.
Right.
But the rest of my body feels like I did a really intense exercise. So I'm not sure that's the way that works, but I seem to think that between now the back that I threw out, and then I was like, well, maybe that's going to straighten that out. But no, it was on the same side, so it didn't actually straighten out.
Womp womp.
Yeah.
I feel like that
Womp
if I hit a
womp.
pothole, and then I'm like, I hit one on the other side too, and I'm like, oh, did it fix it?
Yeah, did it like straighten that out? Did it balance that whole thing out? Yeah, and we were late again, but we're this time thing.
Yeah, the time seems to be getting away. Also today, like, we are recording in the evening. We normally record in the morning, and today.
Well, not too early in the morning. We're too off in space in the morning.
Yeah.
Too early in the morning.
Well, so the time really is getting away because by the time we like sat down and got the sound ready and like did our testing and checking, and then I realized that
You were going to be late.
I was going to be late for the other things that I had to do, and that the bank was going to close and all these things. I was like, crap, I ran out of time. We cannot podcast now.
We will have to try later.
Yeah. So this is later.
So now it's later. And now we're ready to fall over later.
Yes, we are both very tired.
Boy, that intense Virgo full moon that we had on the 19th, boy.
The snow moon?
The snow moon.
Yeah.
I forgot what the other name of it was. It was the snow moon and another, and I can't remember what it was. But that intense energy, each one, it keeps building. It's like a build-up of, and they all have different purposes of trying to help us ascend and trying to help us purge and, get. But I could tell you, we're coming up to Mercury retrograde, which is, we're in the shadow period. It's on the 5th of March, right, which is a couple weeks away. Not even. But, because how fast, because March is short. But
February short.
I mean, February short, not March. See, can't even think. I was just going to say, and the weirdest thing that is happening as far as like the miscommunication and stuff was on right during the full moon in those next couple of days. 3 different people read their times wrong on their texts. One was in trying
for their appointments.
For their appointments. One was on trying to figure out their appointment, and they said that they're available from 9 to 2. And then I was giving them like 10:30, like they could, and they're like, oh, I have to do this between 9 and 2. Like I'm free between 9 and 2. Can we pick a time that works? So I'm like, they thought I said 1:30. They didn't see
the 10. They saw
the 1. They
saw
1, but they didn't see. So then I called them because I'm like, I was trying to explain it, and they still weren't seeing it. And I was like, okay, well, okay, if that was the only one. The next day. Somebody had asked me, can we do a little bit earlier? I have another thing that just came up. Do you have any time earlier? If not, I'll try to change the other thing. But if we could, and I happen to have a little time earlier, so I said 2, and at 10 in the morning, the doorbell rings.
Those aren't even the same numbers.
Huh? And I go, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean? You said 10. I'm like, no, I said 2.
What was their original time?
4.
Okay.
I said 2.
Nah.
And then I had a client at 11:30.
So lucky, just enough time.
So they just had enough time. Barely had enough time.
Barely.
By the time they got in, and I was like, what? And I wasn't even finished getting dressed.
That's funny.
I mean, I was
in
dressed.
Pajamas.
No, I had my clothes on,
Oh.
but I was in the halfway between, getting my hair done and putting my makeup on. So I'm like, well, I'll just finish the hair real quick, forget the makeup, and that's where we'll have to go. But they're like, no way, I read that. And then they looked at it and went, oh my God,
That's
I could
funny.
swear it said 10. I'm like, I know. Now, that was the second one. There was one more. I'm trying to think of who it was, and it was exactly like a similar thing like that. And I was like, apparently, we can't even read text now. Like, read what it's saying. I was like, wow, we are so miscombobulated. We don't know what end is up or down. And who knows what's real and not anymore. I mean, we've been like that for quite a while now, but the reality thing is really funny. So I'm like, yeah, no, 10 and 2 are two totally different things. 10:30 and 1:30 are different. And whatever the other one was similar, like a similar thing like that, where they read it totally wrong. And I'm trying to say, well, no, I'm saying this. Are you sure we're on? So it's just insane.
That's funny.
And then the dumb thing, like the falling yesterday on top of the thing that I did the day before. Now the thing I did the day before was,
That's your own fault.
was a little bit, because I needed to get Wallace's run fixed, and I didn't have time, because everyone's so tired.
Besides the point, though.
Right, but because everyone's so exhausted, that was a little bit ridiculous. And I was lucky that I just, strained a few muscles and didn't do worse than that. But point being is that, see, we can't even think straight now. Not that we've been thinking straight to begin with, but now it's in the danger zone of, I think I could put the run back up that's 15 feet up in the air that was really heavy, and I will stand on a ladder against the house by myself with nobody around and try to pull that thing.
And no phone.
No phone. I forgot my phone in the house. And try to pull that thing up. And then once I got it over there, I could just, I was like...
I'm like, don't you know how...
Yes, gravity works.
Like...
And
force, how force works, like if the ladder's leaning against the house and you're trying to pull the dog run to the side that you're leaning on, that the force of you pulling will make
you go backwards.
I'm like,
yeah, that happened like 3 times.
I'm like,
going backwards.
But so
luckily
she didn't fall off the ladder. I'm like, why didn't you just stand on like an A-frame ladder and just stand on the side angling the other way?
We didn't have the
Anyways,
option to do that.
Everyone
but
doesn't
the point
need
being,
to hear about this anymore.
No, but the point being is how, like, so everyone slow down with and when we thinking crazy.
How do you know you're thinking crazy?
Exactly my point. That's why we got to slow down, because even though I wasn't going fast when I did that, my thinking made rational sense of that. Made rational sense of that whole idea.
My teacup is telling, appreciate yourself and honor your soul. Mm-hmm. My little yogi tea thing.
That's nice.
I was just taking a sip and read it, and it felt like
it was
appropriate
important
to share.
Well, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in the interest of how everyone's feeling, because a lot of times, we talk about, like, what people are experiencing day to day and what I'm seeing day to day, what you're seeing day to day from people, and there's so much as we say, like, back to back, so much crazy that you can't make this up all the time feeling.
Right.
And literally you couldn't make that up. I mean, to like pull your back out.
We were talking about my dad getting like run over the
right.
umpteenth time.
And still be, he's hurt, but he's okay.
Yeah.
And the stupid thing of, like hurting myself 2 days in a row and same similar things, but just adding to them.
Right.
I'm like, I could barely walk today. I'm like, I don't know what hurts worse, but right now I think it's Oh, and then having dental surgery a few days before that. I totally forgot about that because there's so many things hurting at the same time. It's like, okay, that's okay.
Do you think that has to do with the entering Mercury retrograde?
I think that there's so much going on, like planetary. Like we're in the shadow phase of Mercury retrograde.
Well,
but
so what was this moon about, though? Because I actually
the
didn't.
moon, this moon is trying to help us ground. Like it's in Virgo, which is an Earth sign, right? So it would
I
be
don't
trying to.
know that much about Virgo.
Well, it's an Earth sign, so it's more like trying to ground you, like trying to get us more grounded and stuff. Because we have a lot of things that are going on planetary that keep us off in floating around, and we're trying to get a little bit more grounded. But at the same time, we're floating around because we have so much changing, right? There's so much change happening in the with the way that the planets are moving, and a lot of these things haven't happened in hundreds of years. The way that the lineups are, and with the eclipses and the intensity of them and what they're trying to help bring us and help us purge. So we have a lot more purging that we keep going through to try to get up old things. And when people think like, how much purging would I have? It's not. You're not just purging for yourself.
Right.
You're purging for your whole line. You're purging for past lives. You're purging for a lot more than just what you went through in this lifetime. And then if you happen to be like me, who purges for the collective, like a collective group of us, then you're purging a lot of stuff. And you have to remember that this exhaustion, a lot of people don't talk to each other. Like they don't necessarily talk to a large group of people like I talk to or you talk to, about the exhaustion level. Like people are so
tired.
exhausted.
I've been needing way more sleep than usual. Like I normally sleep about 6 hours a night. Well, usually this is like the usual, like for years, always. And that between 6 and 7.
See, you can't talk either.
I can't talk now. Between 6 and 7 was fine, always. And I would like not be able to sleep longer than 7 hours. My body would wake up. Now I feel like if my alarm's not set, I'll sleep for like 8 hours, which is very abnormal for me.
Right.
And I feel like I need it too. Like if I don't, like if I wake up at 6 hours of sleep, my body feels like a limp noodle. I feel like overdone pasta.
Right.
Just like my brain won't, like it's
like, hard to kick in.
Yeah, it's like this brain fog thing that happens, and it's like I just feel like I can't like jump.
Well, don't you feel like you have brain fog a lot these
I feel
days?
like I have brain fog at all times. It's very frustrating.
Well, our brain is trying to get out of the fog. We're in between dimensions all the time, or it's like we're getting upgrades and downloads, and you can't, because they show it to me all the time like this. It's like trying to run a computer while a program's uploading.
Right.
It's very hard to do. So if you could see, boy, I can't wait for us to be able to see what the energy's really doing, like to be able to see, because we could see more energy things. We're catching glimpses of energy in different, like lower beings and higher beings, like out of the corner of our eye, and all kinds of different, you could see it in the colors of the sky and the different mists and stuff that we're being able to see. But if you could really see the energy, it would be like, no wonder why you're exhausted. If you don't move, you're moving. Because the one thing about vibration, that people don't realize, it's like you're vibrating regardless whether you're moving.
Right.
So if the vibration on the planet's higher, and we're getting the Schumann resonance and spiking, which is the vibration of the planet, when that spikes up, people who are sensitive to energy, and you and I are, and along with a lot more people that don't realize how sensitive they are, which is one of the reasons why we talk about it a lot, is that would affect them too. So when we have those, and you could even, look that up and check the spikes and be like, oh.
What's it called again?
The Schumann resonance.
Schumann?
Yeah, Schumann.
Like you have shoes on your feet and then you're a man?
SCHU. Schumann. MANN, I think. But that's, like you could see, like when that's spiking, that's also vibration, right? And that vibration is the vibration of the planet, and that of, how it's vibrating, and there's a lot of spikes in that. So that would also be affecting, especially people who are sensitive. Some people go through like full moons and new moons and stuff, and they don't feel as much. These days, it's not as easy to do that because they're so intense and they're pushing us. It's like you're trying to get a different perspective. You're trying to see things from a new way. You're trying to be. It's like you keep throwing people off cliffs, right? It's like you're trying to be shown a different way so that you can actually see, like, no, it doesn't have to be that way. It's not, what you believe to be true is not true. There's way more going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's trying to show you, and if you keep doing the same thing over and over and we expect something different, they're trying to show you, here's another way to look at this.
Right.
Here, how could you see that that pattern doesn't seem ridiculous now? Like, it's so ridiculous that you couldn't make it up.
Right.
Ridiculous.
I feel like I have a hard time recognizing what even is a pattern if it's small.
Right, that's why they make it big.
Right.
Yeah, that's why it has to get big. Because most people can't recognize a small pattern.
Right. Well,
and if it doesn't affect you in some way, you wouldn't
right.
recognize shit.
Right. Well, everything should be affecting you, I suppose. But
no, what I'm saying is that, to a degree, if you'll notice something more if it's bothering you, right, more than if it's not. So you notice if your toe is fractured, you tend to notice that more than if it isn't.
Well, like, here's an example. So I have a friend who is, like, compulsively helpful, right? Like, she must help all the time and doesn't help herself.
The one that drove you to New York?
Yes.
That friend?
Yes, that friend. So awesome, so helpful, but it's like, I'm seeing her, like, be depleted from
all that helping.
From all of the helping, and it's like the
thing that she needs to learn. That's what we talk about all the time, right? So you're watching her do that.
Yeah.
And what is she being pushed to do? So she's helping more, or she's doing more stuff, or whatever she's doing.
Yeah.
And it's the idea of, okay, so how do you give yourself what you keep giving? Because you need to learn how to give that to you. Why are we doing that? Why are we giving so much? Because it's not equal.
No,
right?
It's not equal. It's not equal. And I was like, I'm going to give you a haircut. I'm going to give you gas money. I brought her, like, a nice, like, turmeric drink.
But
like,
it's not like
no,
I
but I'm just saying,
why
but
she
you know
was
what I
doing
mean?
that
It's
for you.
like,
I'm
right.
not talking about you.
Yeah,
because
no.
That's very equal.
Right, yeah, but I'm just saying it's like, but the energy exchange on the most part, it feels out of balance. So, like, watching like, you can see how people are, like, over, like,
how one group is over and the other ones are not.
Right. Yeah. But it's like they have to work together to make it a complete circle. It's just the circle's, like, way
off.
So it's like watching.
Yeah, because the pendulum is going so far.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like watching her just, like, work herself, into having zero time for herself. But it's like being on the outside. You see it, but, like, when from her eyes, she would be able to see what my stuff is, but
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? But I have a hard time seeing what.
Yeah, we have a harder time seeing ours.
Right. So it's like, I don't know what mine is. Like, I told her, I was like, you're like compulsively helping, like, do something for you. And she was like, oh crap, you're right, I do that, don't I, huh? And so it was just kind of like, oh, you're right. Huh.
But that's where the insight, the only way you get it is if you start to feel like, okay, and then somebody can, and she's open enough to listen to, like, wow, I am doing that. And people are getting more open to actually listening, like, meaning, like, trying to figure out, like, what they're doing. And there is ways to figure it out. I mean, all you have to do is look at your day-to-day schedule and look at what you do and how it makes you feel.
Right. I wake up and I always feel like I'm late.
I do too, and I'm not late. That's the energy.
Yeah, it's odd.
It doesn't matter what time I wake up, unless it's 5 in the morning.
Right.
5 in the morning, I'm not late. I get late at 6. For some reason, at 6 a.m., I start feeling the late move in, and I'm not late.
Right. Well, it's weird, too, because, like, okay, for example...
6:30 for sure you're late.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens.
So for the past 2 days, I was in New York working on my friend's TV special, and it was a late night, and I came home late and slept till, like, 10 this morning. So when I woke up, I was like, oh, crap, it's 10 o'clock. And, like, it's almost like I feel like I shouldn't allow myself the time to recoup, even though I had worked, like, 12-hour days 2 days in a row. And what is wrong with my brain that
my brain has the same wrong problem.
Right. But it's like allowing yourself to have rest and to recuperate is not a thing. Like, why?
It is a thing. there's a couple of things happening. Number one, it used to be, it would have been okay normally on the weekend, and then we got rid of Saturday years ago, meaning like the weekend used to be our rest downtime,
Mm-hmm.
right? So because today is Sunday, that you should have been able to like sleep till 10, especially knowing that you work 2 days, 12 hours. Like it's a rest. It's supposedly a rest day. We don't have any rest days left, meaning like we got rid of Saturday. I remember that years ago, where I felt like Saturday and Sunday were the safe days, where I could feel like, oh, I wasn't like feeling that push in the morning, like, oh my God, you're late.
Mm-hmm.
Then it got earlier on where you were late as the time's been speeding up. And then Saturday went.
Meaning it turned into a work day.
It turned into a work day.
Yeah.
And then Sunday started going. Sunday started going not in the morning, it started going at night. So it started creeping up like at 4 o'clock. It was like, oh shit, I have to get ready for tomorrow. Like
Yeah.
it started to get. And then all of a sudden it started doing the morning. So where it was like, oh, I have to get all this stuff done before, because it's going to be, the next thing I know is, I'm like...
The next thing you know, it's Monday.
Right. So that part is something that collectively, like the energy-wise, and then at the same time, the more that we did that, normally it became part of who you were. So it became part of the program. Even though you didn't necessarily have it to that degree.
Right.
Because you would be able to rest, especially on a Sunday. But if you notice the feeling, because even on a Sunday, I can't do it anymore. And I was never good at it to begin with. But
thanks, I got that too.
no, I was never good at being able to, like, sleep late. Like, I'm not one of those people that it would be more like, and I wasn't a person who could take a nap. But lately, I've been telling you, I'm pushing myself to, because I'm so exhausted. So I'm trying to follow the rhythm of my body, which is
Right.
a little bit of work to do, because you're unprogramming this, whatever, you know what, we need to go with the time, meaning like whatever our body's feeling like, not the time, the
Right.
time of what my body feels. So what's my body feeling? What does it need right now?
What, like your circadian rhythm?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what my body needs right now is more of what I'm trying to give it, and whatever the moment is. So if it needs rest right now, then and I could do that, then then I'm doing that.
Yeah.
You know.
This is interesting to me. I don't know what's going on with this. During the day, I'll be so tired that I could, like, I'm like falling, like my eyes are heavy and shutting,
And then at nighttime you're wide awake.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's bedtime. I'm like, I wake up and I think, I cannot wait to get into bed tonight. And
Mm-hmm.
then for some reason, I don't know what the hell's going on at night, but it's like your brain is waking up.
There's a lot of stuff that's going on at nighttime.
Yeah. But the other weird thing, though, is when I'm in bed, it's like, oh, crap, I should have been in bed like an hour ago. Why am I awake still? I'm like, what the heck was I even doing? Like, where did the time go? And then I wake up in the next morning exhausted. I'm like, why didn't I go to bed earlier? But I, like, couldn't go to bed earlier.
Right. You could have gotten bed earlier, but you probably wouldn't have fell asleep.
Right. No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like
Mm-hmm.
my brain was, like, on.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time, and I noticed it, and then I was listening to the guides talk about how much stuff we're getting downloaded at nighttime, and what's happening. Like, so our bodies are going through all these changes, and there's a lot of stuff that comes in the day, right?
Mhm.
So you're tired, and then your body chills, like you relax, and then it's like you're getting more of that so now you wake up. And it happens to me all the time. I mean, I get
Oh,
woken up
gosh.
at, I could fall asleep at 11:30 and wake up at 1, and then be
Mhm.
up from 1, and I'm exhausted.
You're on that, like, 4 hours on, 4 hours off sleep
And then wake up at
schedule.
1, and then not be able to go back to sleep till 5.
That's a different, yeah, you're on, there's like a couple alternative sleep cycles. Your body's doing it, I guess, by itself.
And then at 5, I can go back to sleep till, because I have to wake up for my alarm's going off.
Right.
I'm like, okay, an hour and a half and an hour and a half, I'll get 2 hours, two and a half, is not even together. I'm like, it could use a little more. And some days it's perfectly fine, I could do it. And then other days I'm like, OMG, I can't even think.
There's like, I think there's like 4 different alternative sleep cycles that you could do. And like one of them is like 2 hours awake, a half an hour asleep, 2 hours awake, a half an hour asleep. And you just do that like the whole 24 hours. It's a really weird one. But they have like, there's all different ones. Like I was reading
the different sleep.
I wanted to learn about like sleep patterns and why I was so tired at night, what the hell is going on, and also why I can normally function on such little sleep. And I guess there's something that is there's like a study that they were realizing that there's some mutation in one of certain people have this mutation where they're just short sleepers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Like they just, the signal that your body gives off to be tired doesn't happen
Mm-hmm.
in the short sleepers,
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was like some stuff I can't remember. I just was reading about it, so I was curious.
do know, as far as like the ascension and stuff, that we will not need as much sleep.
For me though, I've been getting way more sleep than usual.
No, I said we will not. Right
We will
now,
not, yeah.
right now we need, and like it's always changing. So we may. That's why I'm saying like rest when you can rest, because there's times when you'll be exhausted, but you can't sleep at nighttime to the same degree you would. So you would think like today we're both exhausted.
Like I could go to sleep. I could fall asleep right now. Like my eyes are like.
Right. We could fall asleep right now. The only problem is by the time we're done and then we do whatever we're doing, eat some dinner, whatever, we will be then time for bed, and we may be wide freaking awake.
Mm-hmm.
And we may not, even though this is our like we're both feeling exhausted. And then say 10:30 comes, and say we even try going to sleep early, right? And say we'll go to bed at 10:30. And 12 will still be.
Yeah, I had a 12-hour day the other day. I was up at 6:30. No, I was up. I was up at 6:30. Had the whole long day, and then stayed up until 3:30 in the morning because I was awake. I was just up.
Right. And you're like, I should be.
I'm like, why am I not tired?
But that's part of like when we talk about the cycles and stuff. And if you pay attention, like you really have to pay attention to what this awareness, like being aware of what you're doing all the time. Like just staying in awareness of the thoughts that are popping in. We're creating so freaking fast, and I keep feeling this little magic that's in the air underneath the crazy, right? So we know there's crazy, and we know
I
that
was feeling that too.
But you could feel, right, the little magic.
I feel there's two places I have it. I feel it in the air, like as like a general blanket statement. Like you just feel like your thoughts are almost like sticking into the air, and like they're tangible, right?
They are.
And then I also feel...
Be careful with them.
Right. I also feel right here, I'm starting to get really...
Right here?
Here, like, on my head. I'm going to describe where I'm holding here in a second.
Because I'm like, what?
No, I'm going to say what I'm saying, and then I'll describe it.
Okay.
Like, right here on my head, like, so the like, where your occipital ridge is on your head, like, the bump in the back, like, above the nape of your neck.
Yep.
On the left side, between the nape of my neck and the occipital ridge, that area specifically
it's getting activated over there?
Lights up. Like, so, like, when I hear... Because I was listening today when I was driving... Because to dial back why this is even a thought is I was trying to learn how to describe the knowing of when you get your like little intuition thing where you like get the information. Yeah. So I was like trying to figure out like how do I tell someone
when you know, like how you get your feeling.
Yeah, how is mine?
Because
like,
we were talking about paying attention to how you know.
Right. So I was thinking about that because the reason why I was up late the other night is my friends who I was helping with her TV thing, her little cousin came to visit, and she's really interested in that, and we were chatting about it, and I was trying to describe like mine, and I was like realizing that on my way, driving to meet my friend for lunch today, I got this feeling of don't take the left, go straight instead. And it was like so clear and strong, and it felt in that spot in my head. And it just felt like it was like popped in there, and it got like a little bit like warm and tingly, I suppose. And I just trusted it. So I don't know what was the other way, but you know what I mean? But then as I'm driving, I took back roads instead, and then someone like flashed their lights at me. I guess my headlights weren't on, and it was like really foggy today, so my car couldn't really be seen that well, and I didn't know. So someone warned me that my lights were off, and then I turned my lights on right away. So who knows what would have happened if I went the other way, because I would have been on the highway, so no cars would have been like crossing me. So maybe someone like would not have seen me and hit me or something.
Who knows?
You know what I mean? So it's just like,
Or you could have been like I was, stuck in traffic for 2 hours.
right, yeah, yeah. But it was just like this, and I never ever go the back way.
And me neither. But when I told you last time, when they told me that, and I was like, no, I'm having a whole argument with them. No, take a left. No, the back way. No, take a left. They're telling me to go the back way. I'm saying no, I'm taking a left to get on the highway. No, take the back way.
To go to the bank?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well, I was
what
going down to, yeah.
yeah, that's what I was doing. I was trying. Okay, anyways, whatever. So the
So
point
same
is,
point is that I didn't listen. I was in traffic for 2 hours.
right?
Dead stopped where it's never ever been.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So whatever yours was, right? That knowing part,
Yeah.
right? I'm having an argument with my knowing at that day.
Yeah.
Which was where that comes in. It's the idea of pay attention, because we want you to understand when you get that feeling.
Mhm.
Where does it where do you feel it? How do you know that that's your feeling? Like, the more you pay attention to it, the more you understand. It's
Right.
like, and everyone has it differently.
Right.
Right? Yours, you just said it came into what side? The left side?
The left side, near like the nape of my neck and my occipital ridge, like between those little, in that area, and it like goes in it, but it's hard to describe the feeling, but that's the place that I feel it, and it starts to like trickle down the side of my neck, and it just feels like if you've ever had like a Reiki energy done, like if someone has their hands up against you, how you can feel like the little like
the pressure.
push,
Mm-hmm.
and like the energy is being like put into you, and you can feel like the tingle.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens. It's like I get that feeling, and then I hear in my mind the
Right,
information.
the thing.
Yeah. So.
Which is
yeah,
important.
yeah.
So because when we were doing the class, and we were like as we were doing the different cards, so that people could be like, okay, well, send the image, and people were starting to get it. They were like able to hear and see and guess what the playing cards were that each person was holding. As we were doing that back and forth. Then it was like, okay, once you got it, now pay attention to how it feels like it's coming in.
Right.
Like, do you just see the image? Do you hear it? Do you feel it? Is it a combination of things? Like, do you get just like a knowing? And then people could start to pay attention to it. But we're having more of that, and it's heightened more and easier. Our other thing that we're doing a lot is the telepathic and empathic. People don't have any idea that a lot of their thoughts do not belong to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're getting thoughts from the collective all the time. So,
What kind of thoughts?
well, it could be anything. Meaning, like
give us
I'm
an
late.
example.
That whole late thing,
Yeah.
that's a collective thought. That honestly is a collective thought. That feeling and that thought at 6:30 that it really hits, because at 5 I don't have it. At 5:30 it's not there. At 6 it starts. By 6:30 it's a late.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime that I wake up after 6:30, I'm already feeling late, and I'm not late. I set my alarm so I have a few hours to wake up and get ready for clients. At least 2.5, because I have other things I need to do in the morning.
Right.
I'm not late, but I'm feeling late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really odd.
That's a very big collective one, because everyone's rushing and running, and we don't feel like we don't have time, and we're not using time to our advantage. I mean, like,
right.
we could, manipulate time with saying, okay, in this amount of time, I get this and this done.
I did that the other morning, actually. So my friend was going to pick me up from New York, and I had wanted to take a shower before I went to bed, because I knew I had to get up at 6:30 or 6 and leave at 7. And I just didn't. I was too tired. I was like, whatever, I'll just do it in the morning. So I hit snooze too long, and I had 45 minutes to pack my lunch, take a shower, get dressed, and do make my tea.
Mm-hmm.
And normally I give myself an hour in the morning without the shower, and I just make it.
Mm-hmm.
I just make it.
Well, barely. Yeah.
Barely. Usually I'm 15 minutes late. So it's like an hour and 15 minutes usually for me to gather my life and leave. So, but I showered, shaved my legs, which that takes an extra. This wasn't a regular shower; it was a shaving shower too. So, my
But you
hair,
went crazy.
I went crazy. I had to blow dry my hair because it was cold. I didn't want a wet head.
Yep.
Which
That's
that also doesn't usually happen because, again, I'm going to bed at night usually, so
right.
I don't care if my hair is wet. But it's like...
But a lot of time you'll blow dry your hair before you go to bed.
Right, but I'm not rushing.
No.
You know, so it's like I like the blow dryer because it
relaxes
me and it's warm, the sound is nice, and, you know, that's why I like it for bedtime. And but anyway, so it's just like, running around. But it was like, you know what? I have 45 minutes. That's plenty of time. It don't need more than 15 minutes to shower. That gives me a whole half an hour to get dressed and pack my lunch. That's very realistic. Let's do it. It was fine. Totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
But on every other day, why am I 15 minutes late when I have more than, like, I didn't shower and I, you know.
Because what did you do differently?
Well, I just told myself, these things should take, like, the shower won't take more than 15 minutes. Getting dressed won't take more than 15 minutes. Packing my lunch will take 5 minutes. Like.
So you basically said what the time you were going to do within that time.
Right.
And you did it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny that.
But you don't do that every day.
No.
You know, like if you do that more, right? If you practice that more, and if everyone practices it more, it's like, okay, in that situation, most people would have said, I can't do the shower. I already snoozed too long, I can't do the shower.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I really need a shower. So they might have jumped in the shower, done a quick shower, went out wet, hair wet, and the whole. But for whatever reason, that when you did that, you said, you kind of broke it down and said, well, 15 minutes shower, 5 minutes this, 10 minutes that, still got enough time.
Yeah.
So you broke it down and then went and did it.
Yep.
And it worked.
Mm-hmm.
It does it a lot. We just don't use it that much.
Right.
We're still learning. We're still learning how to use it.
Right. Because, like, well, I'll do that
when you have that feeling that you're late, it really screws with that.
Yeah.
Because we don't tend to stop. Because we say, like, here the program is telling you that you're late. When it's not. It's the collective energy that's telling you that you're late. You're not late. Right? We're not late yet.
Right.
But if you're having that feeling pushing you, then it's harder for you to stop and go, hold on.
Yeah, like, why do I feel like this? I'm not actually late.
Right. And to then make time work with you.
Right. Yeah, well, because my thing that I've been, like, trying to work on is, how do I describe this? Because I am 15 minutes late a lot of the times, not for, like, work things, but just for other things, that I'm trying to recognize if I'm thinking that I'm going to be 15 minutes late and then making myself 15 minutes late, or if
to see how you're doing it.
Yeah, or if I'm, you know what I mean, like, I'm trying to pay attention to, like, do I actually...
Which is good. We're trying to figure out, like, how am I creating this? Like,
right,
what am I doing?
Yes, exactly. I'm like, there's a pattern here. I'm like, because I'm consistently 15 minutes late, so there is a pattern. Because it's the same, exactly the same. So it's like, do I not realize that it's taking me this amount of time to do this thing that I'm not realizing, or, like, I'm not calculating in how long it takes me to, like, gather myself, put my shoes on and my coat on, and, like, actually, like, load my car and then leave. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, that's, like, the time flub.
Right. How long is it that I'm doing something, or how am I setting this up? Because I'm setting it up.
I'm setting it up, and that's just, like, a really basic example of, like, how I'm setting myself up.
But it's it's the underlying of all of them.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's like you paying attention to that one and figuring out, okay, that one makes me feel this way about myself, whatever that is, because that's the belief that it's going to prove. And then going back and feeling like, all right, how am I doing this? Because I know I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Either I'm doing this, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing all of them.
Right.
How am I doing it? Once you get the feeling down, though, and what it's proving, and then you disprove it, it's helpful, because it's like, no, I don't feel like that there's something wrong with me because I'm 15 minutes late. I don't feel like I can't do this or get this together, or that I don't know what I'm doing, or whatever shit that it's proving, because when we go through the beliefs. Okay, once because you got to do that part first. In there, you should do that part also, because that's really important, because the belief about it is being proven all the time.
I think my belief is I'm not organized with my time because ideally
But then remember, we'd say you'd go down more, right? So it'd be like, okay, my belief is I'm not organized with my time. Okay, what does that make you feel about yourself?
that I'm cramming, like I'm not taking care of myself because, well, no, let me finish though. She's shaking her head no at me. Because this is what happens is my thought before this is I had wanted to go to bed and wake up early enough that I had time to like do yoga and move slow and collect myself and like do everything.
Yeah, that's all surface stuff.
But listen to the rest of what I'm saying is, so because when I wake up, I already destroyed that because I woke up too late because I hit snooze, so that stuff is all gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I have to just like
So what did that make you feel
start
about yourself?
running. It makes me feel like
Apparently you can't do anything right. You can't even get up in 15 minutes, and you got to keep hitting your alarm. Well, the real feeling, like you have to go through it a few times. And I'm talking about the real feeling. It's not just about I don't organize my time. That's the top layer.
I understand, but
And people do that. That's why we're doing this, because what you just did, everybody does. They go to the
Right.
top layer. I just can't organize my time.
no, I understand that.
I'm like, all right, well, that's great. You just can't organize your time, but there's something deeper.
Yes, I know that.
So what's the deeper thing? Is what I'm asking you, because that's the thing that you need to know. Otherwise,
Right.
you're just going to keep. I just can't organize my time. No, that's not the problem. That's a symptom. So it would be like, the symptom is I can't organize my time. But what's the core issue? The core issue is that I feel this way about myself, so I can't organize my time because that helps prove it.
You know what it feels like? It feels like if I give myself the time to move slow and like do my yoga and like do what I'm doing, that it's kind of being selfish because I'm not saying that this is true. This is just
We're just talking about how it makes you feel.
Right.
I'm not asking
Yeah.
you if it's right, true or not, because none of them are true.
Yeah, no, they're not true. But it's like a weird.
Pretty much all of them are not true.
They are not true. But it's like it feels like, well, you have so many things that you need to be doing. So why would you do this extra thing?
Yes, but that's the part. But you're still not getting to, what does that make you feel about yourself? That you shouldn't take care of yourself, that you're not important, that you don't matter, that all the other stuff's more important than you?
Right, that's what I was going to just say.
Okay.
Was the add-on of the whole, like, putting myself last.
That makes more sense. But when you look at that, because that's what I'm saying, like, as you get down there, then it's like, okay, is that true? And is that helping you in any way? Like, that makes no sense at all when we start to, like, unravel it.
Mm-hmm.
So we may think that the time thing, we can't organize time because we're staying at the top.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't organize time.
Right, well, obviously
Is our
it's
problem.
deeper than that.
Right, but I'm saying that a lot of people be like, no, I just can't organize time. Like, I'm just 15 minutes late. For whatever reason, I'm always 15 minutes late, but they're never getting to what the core is.
Right.
Like, getting to the core of what's really the reason why you're 15 minutes late. That has to do more with you feeling that you're not important enough to take care of yourself, because then you're being selfish, right? You need to be doing this, this, and this. And that part, when it comes down to that, I'm not important, I don't matter enough to do that. These other things are more important, or however you're saying it, that you start to understand. It's like, what's the belief that I'm having that's keeping me 15 minutes, making me 15 minutes late?
And it starts the night before.
But part of it, there's more to it, because the I'm not important, how would that make you 15 minutes late? Because I'm not taking care of myself? No. There's more to it. There's still more to it. You're getting there, but there's still more to it.
But it starts the night before, too, because
well, it never stops.
No, yeah, well, it never stops because it's a cycle. It's because I'm cramming all of these things in, because then I get frustrated that I didn't give myself the personal time. So then I wiggle in a yoga class, or wiggle in, like, oh, we got mail. Or, like, wiggle in, like, going to lunch or something. And then all of a sudden, now I'm, like, that much more late for doing the thing that was actually on my to-do list. So then now I'm going to
Right,
bed.
but do you see how all of that then makes you feel stupid? Because yours always comes down to the
but that
you don't know what you're doing, or that the not important, or what's like, everyone has similar ones, but when you start breaking that down where you're always late, you're never late with work. You're always late
No.
for your own stuff. Like
yeah,
stuff
just like social things.
right, you're late for social stuff, which would be your own stuff and
Right.
people that are friends of yours, right? So you're
Right.
late for making them wait,
Right.
right? But you're also late for your own stuff. Like, you were late for the podcast this morning
What do you mean?
because you got up later and was putting around or doing whatever you were doing.
But we didn't have a start time.
We had a start time. We know because we had an end time. Meaning we knew we needed to start by a certain time because you had to leave. And then when we were finally getting it together, and then you said, "Oh, I'm not going to have enough
that's because
time."
I didn't know I had to go to the bank.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So when that happened, that feeling like, "Oh, well, that was a technical thing bank-wise."
Right. Because we would have had plenty of time.
You know, that was a technical thing bank-wise, because when you went to go do the banking app and it wouldn't work because the bank was having technical difficulties. But
Right.
that goes into those same types of things. Like, we never plan for anything else to happen.
Right.
You never have a second to be able to be like, "Oh, it's still fine. I could still run to the bank."
Right. Yeah. There was no wiggle room for any mistakes. Like it was like, okay, podcast.
But if you used,
yeah.
What you said you used the day before, then you would have been able to, all right, I could still podcast and go to the bank. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I could still podcast and go to the bank because we have plenty of time to do that. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, if we use the same thing you used the day before,
Right.
then
But in my mind though,
I'm saying
yeah.
how we work versus what we could be doing.
Right. Right. Because in my mind it was like, okay, well, if we
podcast for this much time,
podcast for this much time, which we do about an hour,
right?
that would only give me 10 minutes to get dressed, be at the bank a town over, and then be on my way to 2 towns over for where I was meeting my friend, which 10 minutes, like realistically, no matter how much
Mm-hmm.
I tell myself that I could make time work, I was not believing that.
Right. Which is one of the reasons why we just said we'll do it later.
Yeah, so like this is where I have like the struggle where it's like.
But we all have a struggle with that because it's like 10 minutes.
Right.
How am I going to do any of those things?
Yeah, it's just none. I'm like, okay, so we really like. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, I can't.
I
can't get that to click in my head
Yeah,
yet.
that's not gonna work. No matter how much I think.
I can't stretch time yet to that degree that I
Yeah.
could think 10 minutes I could do all those things. But
Right.
but the idea that one day that's not even going to be a thing
Mhm.
is nice. We have to work on it on our side though. And what I'm saying to you about that, like getting to the core issue, because if we don't get to the core and figure out what it is, the real core thing, and as you keep going and figuring it out and keep going, because you keep asking the questions, like, well, what does that really make me feel about myself? And go down again. What does that really, because the core issue is the thing that keeps it going,
Mhm.
regardless of, you could think that you suck at time management, and there's way more to it.
Mhm.
It's just one part that proves something else that you should be right about. That you're right, that you just can't do anything right, or that no matter how hard you try, that there's something wrong with you, or whatever it is, that you're
Mhm.
not important enough, or you don't matter, or, that you shouldn't put yourself first because that's being selfish. All those wonderful, things,
Right.
that are a bunch of bullshit. And if you're coming from a heart
Mhm.
space, which is where we're like, our hearts are getting so much activation and so much pressure and so much to open up, so that if you're using your heart as your barometer for anything,
Right.
there would be nothing that you would be doing that would be detrimental to you or anyone else,
Right.
if you're coming from that space. But until we can actually do that, we have to start looking inside and start realizing the detriment we've been causing ourselves all the time. And then the detriment that we would be doing to other people, because we're taking it personal, or we think that someone's doing something to us, or we're not understanding that they are a reflection of us.
Right.
So there's just so much to it. And at the first place, it starts, ouch.
What'd you just do? You hit your toe?
I just put my leg over
Yeah.
on top of my toe. See, not paying attention to, wrong toe.
Uh-huh.
because I was so into what I was saying that I didn't feel my toe until I went to put my leg up.
Yeah.
I went, oh, geez, oh, toe, hey.
Oh, you know the other thing that keeps coming up for me is
The price of tea in China?
yes. I want
What
to.
is the price of tea in China? Where do we get that saying? Sorry.
I don't know.
Okay, go ahead.
Don't know.
Two birds with one stone. Sorry.
That's such a sad.
I know. I don't know what
saying.
that
I don't like that saying.
Neither do I. But that's.
Um,
I'm just saying. They just keep popping into my head.
She used to think that it was a chimp on your shoulder instead of a chip on your shoulder.
It was between a monkey on your back and a chip on your shoulder. Apparently, I got chimp on your shoulder.
Yeah, that's
as a little kid.
Yeah,
as a little kid.
Anyway, so the other thing that keeps coming up for me is I keep wanting to, like, you know how we're talking about like emotional purge. I want to physically purge. Like I keep feeling like all the
But your
things.
body is doing that. It's trying to purge all your stuff out of your house. Like
right, like my home's like the space that I'm in, stresses me out because there's so much stuff that I feel like I'm trapped and like the walls are like closing in on me and I just want to throw everything away.
So it's trying to get rid of her hoarding thing.
Right.
She has a hoarding thing.
Makes me insane though. Like because
except for if you throw all of her stuff out, then that'll make her more insane. So she's working on the because we all are. I mean, we're all are. I'm not picking on you. I'm joking.
Well,
but on both of them, they're both coming up. But you're throwing more stuff away.
What I'm
I mean, you're giving more stuff away.
What I'm working on though is
Would you like me to stop talking over you?
Yes, please. It's very annoying. I'm working on letting.
Sorry, just being a ball buster.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand why it's important that I hold on to something and just keep dragging it around from place to place to place. And because I was just thinking about this, I was like, one day, like, I won't live here. I'm gonna move. What am I gonna do? Like, hold on to like these 10 pairs of pants from high school and just keep bringing them to place? Like, what is the point of that? Like, I'm just looking at them. Why do I have an attachment to this? This is stupid. And it's, like, why do I need this? Like, okay, I want one, maybe keep two things because, like, you liked a cool pair of shoes. Mm-hmm. They have fun memories. You like this fun T-shirt from a concert that you went to. You wear it to bed sometimes. Cool, keep those things. But, like, you don't need 10.
Nope.
So it's like, or like I had, like, a dance trophy in my room from when I was little, like a cute little trophy. But I was so blind to all the little like knickknacks in my room that I had kept collecting that all of a sudden I just stopped seeing it. And then when I like woke up to how everything felt like vibrational wise, it felt like I was being bombarded by like all of this stuff in my field. And then I just wanted to get rid of it all. But then I was like feeling trapped because I felt like I physically couldn't let it go. Mm-hmm. So then it was like a fight inside of my brain being like, I don't want this stuff, but I can't let it go. What is wrong with me? Like,
but that's, if you think about it, that's kind of what we're doing right now, right? That's the old and new. It's like, why do I need this? What's it for? But see, it has good memories. You wouldn't give away your trophy, like you would.
Right. It's so
throw
stupid.
out your trophy.
Like, it's like at the end.
Now, what was funny was when you said, "What should I do with this?" I said, "Well, get rid of it," and you went.
I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I also don't want it in my room.
I'm like, okay, well, I guess you could, for right now, you could move it to another place with the other ones.
Right, we have an area that has, like, other ones. I don't know why that singular one is in my room, but...
Which, those are going to be going soon.
Right, but it's like, I don't understand, what is the point of having so much crap? Like, why?
I don't know, but you tend to have a lot of it.
Because it's like a fear. It's like a fear of not wanting to... Like, what used to happen was, I wouldn't want to rebuy the thing that I knew that I already had. Mm-hmm. Because what would happen is I'd get rid of it and then
need it.
And then need it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
yeah, I hate that. But that's always, but see, you know what I ended up figuring out? It's I can't find it when I need it. So I would save it, couldn't find it when I needed, go and bought it, and then I'd find it. And then I'm like, all right, this is stupid now.
Oh, no, I know where everything is in my chaos. Although it's not chaos now. It's just...
No, but you know what I'm talking about? Like, I'd be like, okay, let me save that because I know I'm going to need it. And then I couldn't, like, it would be disappeared. And then I'd find it as soon as I didn't need it anymore.
Right. And the thing that I tell myself has been helping me is, like, I'll look, like, let's say I have like a couple shirts that I'm holding on to for some dumb reason, and
Mhm.
I look at that, I'm like, am I going to pick something else over that every single time? Yes, I am. Why do I have this now?
And that's helping, right?
That one thing is helping, where it's like I'm actually like holding it up. It's like I might still like it, but I will always pick a different sweater before I pick this sweater.
Okay.
Always.
So then you're
Yeah.
like, so what do I have this
Right,
for?
exactly. So I'm like, I have to get rid of it, even though it
Even
has
though it has this, and
it
this.
has these memories for some reason. Like I just have to be okay with allowing myself to get rid of the thing.
Okay, so with that also, it's what's the core thing. So it's
Mhm.
like all this stuff goes back to what's the core thing, because it's like OCD, right? If we have an
Mhm.
OCD, why do we keep doing and checking and thinking that something,
Right.
why do we continue to hold on to stuff?
Right.
Like,
Didn't they
why
tell
does it,
me I was borderline OCD or something? Someone told
you
me
got
that.
me. I don't know.
Anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter. But
But,
yeah.
but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
any of those things, right,
Mhm.
has a basis in a program or belief that says that there's something else going on with you, right?
Right.
And it also has in our brain chemistry something going on. Now we have a lot of, our hormones are all imbalanced right these days.
I can tell.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
they're
My
all
face,
over
even I have a breakout on my jaw, which breakouts are
hormone.
hormonal.
But
And
our pineal glands are getting a lot of activity, which is hormone based, and all your endocrine system is getting active, which is like getting our chakras more activated and aligned, and in opening more chakras up, because we used to have major, our 7 main ones. We have 12 main ones. They're getting more
what are the
activation.
12?
They go above your head. But
Oh.
but the point being is not necessarily like how many chakras we have, because we have tons of them. But the activations of, and how our body is getting more activated with our psychic abilities, and our telepathic, empathic, clairvoyant, like all of the abilities that we have, we've all had, that we were, you only have 5 senses. That's it. Just work within those, which is a bunch of crap. We've always had more
Right.
than that. And some people, have them more naturally, but they're something that everybody has. So in being able to see that you're getting more of those and people are having more experiences with them, those activations are happening so that you can wake up. And as you ascend, you wake up more. And those things are why our systems are all out of whack, because it's trying to change it. Where it's like
Right.
trying to change that so you have a different system. It's like changing your whole wiring to the upgrade. And it doesn't go, apparently. It doesn't. Our bodies are like, and it's exhausting,
Mhm. Yeah. So tired.
and you can't really think straight because all the programs are being rewritten while you're trying to think at the same time. Downloading. Sorry, no space in here. No space in here for thinking, which I think is, important. But it's like when we were talking about, like, go easy on yourself. Like, we are too hard on ourselves. We're getting a little bit better,
Right.
getting a little bit better. Even to questioning, like, normally you wouldn't question why we're doing the things.
Right.
And you're starting to question. I'm questioning more. Like, no, I need to do this.
Right.
No.
Give us an example.
Like the napping thing,
Right.
or anything. Like, why I had to fix that run, Well, I needed to fix it because I didn't want to ask this and I didn't want to do that. And I was like, and I know I can do it. I'm sure because I tend to like to figure things out.
Right.
So I know I could do it. It irritates me if I can't do it.
Right.
I've always been like that. It's like one of those things as a little kid. It irritates me, even though it's like it's not a job that I should be doing.
Right.
It's more that I could do it, so I will figure out how to do it.
Right.
There's a part, but there's more to that, because that would come down to, and whatever the belief is, if I kept going, right, there'd be one
Mhm.
that it would be proving.
What would it be proving, do you think?
I don't know, because I'm not doing it right now, because
Yeah.
we're almost done with the podcast.
Yeah.
But the point is, there is one, and it's something back in the thing of not being important enough, or that you don't matter, or whatever, because you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing just because there's more to it.
Right. Right. Right.
But anyhow,
Like not asking for help and like taking on everything by yourself for some weird reason.
right,
Yeah.
those types of things,
Mhm.
they have more to them. But the point being is that the more that we're getting aware of, and like really paying attention, like what are you putting out? What are you saying? What do you stop? Like just aware of your routine. Like take a second to be like, why do I get up and do this, this, and this? Just your first half hour of your morning.
Right.
Like just pay attention to, okay, why am I doing this, this, and this? Can I do it a different way? Would this be easier a different way? We're not aware of it. We tend to move so fast and get into a routine of something.
Right.
And not really look at anything. So that's why I'm saying, like, the more we do stuff to try to go, like, and ask the questions, like, what does this really make me feel about myself? It's not the first one. Keep going. Do it 3 or 4 times. What does that make me feel? And use whatever you got. So if it made me feel like I can't do time management. Okay, what does that make me feel? It makes me feel, and whatever that answer is. And then you ask again, using that one. So you keep going 3 or 4 times, and you'll get down to what's more of the core thing. And then you'll see where that keeps showing up in all different places.
Right.
So on that note, the awareness we're going to get hit with, way more energy waves. We're getting, we have a lot of purging coming up. We're going to keep having purging. We're going to have cycles of it that we're trying to get rid of. We have Mercury retrograde coming up, which is also another cycle of, planetary movement to help us to slow down, meaning like it always screws up communication and stuff. I could see that it already did that. It didn't even start yet. I was like, oh, we're having one of those. Like
with your client timing.
Yeah, with the client timing. But the point of anything happening, there's always a point, right? So it's a good thing to slow down and re-look. Like the time's going fast, but re-look. Take a few minutes and just look at what you're doing for like half an hour, 45 minutes in the morning. Then do it at nighttime. Like, why do I do this way? Why do I not do this? Why do I, like, just the more you ask yourself questions, the more you're a detective of your own life, the more you'll start to understand what it is that you're doing, why you're doing it.
Right.
All of that. So, we're going to end on that note because you're going to fall over. I can see it.
Yes, I'm so tired.
I can see it. You're going to fall over.
And Wallace just like blasted us.
Well, that'll keep you awake.
Yeah. Wallace is so stinky.
That will keep you awake. Wallace will wake you up because I could see you're going to fall over. And I was like, oh. And then Wallace just hit her with, now you're going to wake up. But really like getting to the core and just paying attention. Even if you just like use your little recorder on your phone or use your little note thing and just write them down. Like,
what are we writing down?
Whatever your thoughts are, whatever your routine is, why you do it. Like if you're doing the little exercise of like, what does that make me feel about myself? What does that make me feel? Like keep going. Write them down. The more you pay attention to them, the more that you'll start to see. I got to put together another class because there's a few, like an inner child class that I just finished that is really, really important these days. I know we need past life regression classes and stuff, so which I'm going to do some of them online, and I'm starting to figure out what I want to do, like on YouTube, like maybe a YouTube channel, which will be channeling, and maybe some readings and stuff on what the energy's doing.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Because I'm starting to put the podcast up on YouTube, but it would be like in addition to.
We could always run it live too, where like
Yeah,
when we
like
podcast,
we could do like
we can record it.
Yeah, we could do like
so
a live.
So we can do like Facebook Live.
Yeah, we could do like a live. Yeah, we could do like a live thing. So we're working on doing that. So we're things are going to change up a little bit on how we're doing and
yeah, we just
want to
be able to reach people so that way. It's like we can only talk to so many people one-on-one. Right,
and the more people that understand and have questions and stuff, and we could answer them.
And most people, like even like a lot of the models that I work with, because I'm with them for like 2 hours, like in their face working, we end up talking about stuff just like this. I was like, I know like all personal, like really deep personal stuff about people that I meet within 10 minutes. They just, because I'm so physically close to them and like touching their face and like really, and you know what I mean? It's just.
Well, like I was saying, I told you I ran into Home Depot a couple weeks ago to get ice melt because of the storm that we had. And this woman that was the cashier was very sweet, and she said, oh, you could come here, you could come check out over here. We were talking about the ice milk, so I was looking for one bag, and she said, no, I'll have somebody go get it, because I'm like, I cannot walk back down there again. She goes, no, I could send someone. I said, no, I'll just take what I got. It's okay. And she looked at me, and she looked at my chest
Your necklace?
And she goes, oh, my God, I love your necklaces. And I said, well, we need all the protection we could get these days.
Yeah.
And she looked me dead in the eyes, and she said, can you please tell me how to get rid of my ex-husband's energy? He's killing me.
Interesting.
Interesting. So I'm sure she didn't ask every person that she ran into.
Probably not.
While she was checking them out.
Yeah.
She just knew, for whatever reason,
that she could ask you that.
That she could ask me that. And I said, hold on. And gave her the exercise of the cutting the energy exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And then said, I think it's on the website, which I don't know if it is. I said, but I went through it with her. And then one of the other people, one of the other cashiers walked over to talk to her and listened, because they had to wait for me to be finished to talk, and then just looked at me and said, thank you so much for doing that. That was really sweet. Like, they said thank you.
Yeah.
They listened to 75% of it.
Right, because they probably knew what was going on in her life since they worked together.
And they listened to 75% of it. She listened to all of it, and she said, thank you so much. Can I have a card? Do you have a card?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that was pretty interesting. And then I went from there to Walgreens to grab chapstick, and I get to the register, and the woman goes to me, I love your necklaces. And I'm like, I need to hide these right now. Like
I always get commented on my necklaces too.
But it was more what they were going to go with next, and I was I couldn't answer that one.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not ready. I can't.
Because I get people ask me a lot of things, which is fine. I don't mind. But there's certain times I have to,
that you're trying to get somewhere.
That I was trying to get somewhere. So, but it was interesting. Like, people are starting to be able to see.
Yeah.
A person who is a light worker versus the average person, which is very interesting. So in working on doing the changes that we're doing and doing more live stuff and doing more classes, and as I was saying, so the YouTube channel, because and I think I started changing it to putting it on the Mylana LLC YouTube channel, which is Mylana LLC, and then we're on what's our
SoundCloud.
Well, no, for this we're on SoundCloud, iTunes, and now I'm putting them on YouTube, and then we have the Instagram, and we're on Facebook with the Mylana_inspired is Instagram, and then Facebook is This Is Only Your Life podcast, and then we have a couple of other, which is the Mylana Facebook page too. I think we have This Is Only Your Life podcast has its own page. But there's so much, how many ones can you keep up with all of them, right? So much in the social media department of stuff. But the point being is that the more people that you subscribe, like, and share, the more that you do that, the more people we can help, the more people that we can reach. And the more that everyone could start to understand, because we're all a soul tribe. We're all, like, you find your peeps as far as the ones that help you, that work together, and they come out of nowhere. Like, it's interesting. Like, you'll find people all of a sudden, like you said, you'll be doing their makeup, and the next thing you know, it's like, that's a me person.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, it's like very interesting how, like, you'll pop into one and be like, that person's very similar to,
Right.
But in this time especially, we need more people to be open to sharing and to liking and subscribing, because everyone needs help and they don't realize it. And a lot of people don't realize that there's so much that people aren't saying, or, we have a suicide rate that's off the freaking chart right now. We have a drug addiction problem and deaths because of that, which, because we are having such a hard time with our emotions, there's so much going on.
They're trying to, like, escape from them instead of learning how to,
right,
like
what it's for.
Yeah.
And trying to help themselves to heal and to heal from, and it's not just from this lifetime, it's from so many other things that we came here to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So the more people that help, that it could be one little thing that they didn't understand that they now know, because a lot of people, I hear from a lot of people, that will tell me stuff like, oh my God, thank you, you saved my life for that. Like, that saved my life. Because I didn't know that. I didn't know I was feeling other people.
Right.
I didn't know that I was empathic. I didn't know that I could hear other people. That was not me. I didn't know that. Just those two. Never mind the rest.
Right.
So, for everyone, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on all the platforms, YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Facebook, and Instagram, apparently. Apparently all those. So we appreciate you, and hopefully, you know, if, like we said, if you had any questions or anything that you'd like us to do a podcast on, you could always email us, which all the information is at the bottom of each one of the places. Hal, what do you got to say? I'm going to sleep now.
Yeah, nap time.
Nap time. Toodles.
Toodles.